What's going on, everyone? I have a special guest here, my buddy Valtteri. He's come on not just to share his story, how he got into the industry, but also something really exciting about his new software, Textback.ai, that is going to be a complete game changer to really how pay-per-call and the affiliate space as a whole is going to change. So Valtteri, thanks for coming on, brother. Super excited to have you. I know we've been talking about doing this probably since I first met you in Dubai back in March. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone listening and who you are, how you got into the industry originally?
Hey, super cool to talk. And we had met in Dubai, and I think we met in like four different conferences at least. So, and we have so many common friends. Now I just need to get you on board with the SMS game.
Yes,
so basically, I started with the online marketing actually. Now it's almost 15 years already. And how I got originally started, I was doing like laughing gas online stores and e-commerce. And then one day I was in a nightclub and I saw some guy who was ordering a lot of bottles and went to ask what you're doing. And they told me about email marketing. And then we got into the email marketing and had some success with there, but then it became much more difficult to like inbox to all the carriers. And this was around one decade ago. And then we just discovered that, okay, like from all this data that we have, let's try this thing called SMS. Like, let's try to send SMS. Like, how would that work? And it was pretty good. Like the first campaign we sent was to Australia, and I think we made like 10 times the money back. And that was like the wild west. So there was like you could just go to like any online provider. There was no filtration in SMS, no registrations, and it was like the wild west of similar than the email was like in the 90s. And cool. then we basically started from there, and this was like 2015, and I think the best decision that we ever made, because I come from a really cold place called Finland. So me and my business partner were thinking like, okay, so we're sending all these messages to Australia, Finland, Scandinavia, casino, all this stuff. And we were thinking like, okay, what would be the best market to do this? And then we have heard from this place called United States, which is a big economic player in the world market. And we decided that, okay, let's start doing some marketing there. Actually met our common friend in 2017, the one you're hanging out there in Medellin, and he basically told me ins and outs, like how the market works, what are the top verticals to promote, and how the whole game works. And it was still quite wild west then in the States, so you didn't need to like register any brands, or you could just start pushing basically any campaign, payday, and it was basically wild west. And it's funny how you look things back then, like everything was so easy and non-compliant, and then now things have been like become like much more strict. But it is what it is, and the industry is actually getting just, in my opinion, better from those days. Even though sometimes if I would have like one wish, I would teleport my current knowledge to the wild west days.
Always.
And then I think, yeah, then I think I would have like my own plane or something. But now it is what it is. But oh, man. Yeah, but basically then we did what any other tech company would do. So we were first we were marketing with other people's software, and then like not decade ago, but I think 7 years ago, we decided that we need to build our own platform. And then we decided that, okay, like after a few years of it running that, like, hey, we had the friends who asking like, hey, what software are you using? And then they started coming to our platform, and then the team got bigger and bigger. And now it's like, I think we had like few hundred customers like active daily there. So it's pretty nice. And it's funny how like we've been so long in the industry that there's people who actually today, one guy who sent it last time like 5 years ago, he came back like, hey, like, can I reactivate my account? So I start feeling a little bit old when people from like 5 years back are reactivating the accounts. But
yeah, that's awesome. So did you ever take a big focus on like cold traffic paid media, or have you always found more success in maybe getting some data that way, but finding age data, buying age data, and then monetizing that with SMS strategies?
Well, we always been focusing on basically data, and it's mostly the best data cases that we have, like data cases we had is like we basically went to all the biggest survey providers and all the biggest data owners. So if you already running your offer, let's say you run solar on Facebook, you have like your own big survey, and then you're generating a lot of data. So how could you, like, you're focusing on your own offer, getting traffic to that. So usually those people were really interested in signing agreements like, hey, here's like our data feed and please monetize it and pay us the half of the revenue. So that is how we usually have acquired our data, and that is how we still do. So the typical way that you have like you're in some kind of survey and then you're there in the marketing partner section. But well, now we actually, like, when we own our own products, we have also first party data, but that is how we started. And in the beginning it was so easy because people were still doing a lot of email and they hadn't have a clue how profitable SMS was. So it was super easy to just basically get people to lease their databases for that usage.
Is it still as easy for you today, or is it more challenging because of the technology available for advertisers?
And no, I would say not. Basically, now when it has become like the wild days have been like it's over. So it's not that easy. You cannot just go now and, hey, like, here's like 1 million of data and you start blasting like iPhone offers or sweeps or something like that. So it's all like, but it's still pretty easy because all the offer owners, they want to, like, SMS is a full-time job. So they don't really want to do that. And especially now when we're focusing on like we have our own offers, we can pay a really high yield for record. And then we're monetizing with calls, all the different angles. So if you think about the consumer, like you are one consumer, you're not just consuming like a payday loan, which I assume you're not consuming, but you need to like basically look at the audience like they would be like a radio advertisement audience. So you need to bombard them with all the offers that they could be engaging with. And it's also different people react different to different type of advertisement. So some of the people would never click a link in SMS, but if they get the voicemail or they get the call, like all of us, like, we would pick a phone call if we get it, especially if it's like some trusted number or something. So there's like multiple different types of customer, and our goal is usually just optimize that we hit them with all the possible angles.
What gave you the idea to first develop the software? And then maybe you could also give everyone like a bullet point of exactly what the software does and how it works.
Well, the first of all was the need to get our own platform, because like we wanted to save cost and we wanted to go directly with different carriers, and you cannot really do that if you're just working with third-party software. And especially like in the good old days, we were sending 10 million messages ourselves, so self a day in SMS. So it was basically a no-brainer in financial case that we need to go as direct as we can. And if you're working with other people's software, we could not negotiate with all the carriers and all this. And also then we could not do like all the features that we wanted. And actually the story of our platform is like it's called Textback.ai, because when we actually launched our platform in 2018, the carriers have always had like different ways how they filter messages. And one way that was working amazingly back then was the responder method, because how they looked at your traffic profile is like they looked at how much like interaction you're having with the customer. So if I would send you a message like, hey John, reply yes to get the daily offer, and you reply to that DID, which is like the sending number, and then you get the link. That was actually like the carriers let all that through, and that was the method that we built our platform to. the name is still the same. And I think we were like, well, we bought the domain in 2017, I think. So the AI was only a little bit involved. So basically the AI back then was that we could, like, if you would not answer yes, you would answer yeah. Then the AI would basically analyze it. Okay, this is the same thing. Or if you reply like "fuck you," that would be also opt out. So that was the level of AI back then.
So what are the features and functions it does now? Obviously, you can build out, I'd imagine, some type of AI based flow of conversation if you wanted to. But then also you have the ringless voicemail feature and then the outbound dialing as well, right?
Yeah. So if you look at like the easiest way to look at what our software is doing. So now when we are living in the clean white hat days, and we own our own debt offer, and we own a lot of our assets, and we actually promote mostly our own products. So what is the use case that our platform is made for, and what is the mission? So if you're any marketing company and you have a customer database and you're acquiring data, so your goal is to get the maximum amount of revenue from your data. And our platform's mission is to complete that task. And how we complete that task is basically using SMS, using calls, using voicemails, and combining all these and combining the actions that the people are doing in this. And this is basically how we do it. So I will give you an example. Like if you send an SMS to a customer and a customer clicks to an SMS from your database, that means that the customer is usually extremely interested, especially if they convert. So the big secret in the whole SMS and also in the email game was that you need to segment your data based on the consumer actions. So if you're running a diet product and you get like 50,000 subscribers a month, it's not beneficial to you to hammer like you will get 500,000 users in like 10 months. You will not make any profit if you just keep hammering the whole 500K. So what you need to do is you need to keep your data fresh and see who are the most interested, and then send them offers that are relevant to their interest. So the first features that we did were, of course, when we were only doing SMS, were basically clicker segmentation, responder segmentation. So we're segmenting all the user activities that they did. And based on those activities, we could resell them different products and keep the cost low while only working with engaged data. So that was the first functions and the mission that we had in SMS. And also something that we built really early on is that that is the most important thing is maybe the data segmentation, but there's this old saying that content is king. So to make content creation and testing as easy as possible, we made like features that when you're sending an SMS campaign, you can add like 100 creatives there, and you can generate them all with AI currently. And then when you send these 100 creatives, you will be able to see, like, if you're sending a pay-per-call campaign, like, okay, how many conversions I got to each of them. You can basically set up the test amount. So our platform works pretty similar than like Facebook ad testing. You can just, but it's actually easier. You can just generate with AI, like how I usually do it. Like, let's say I work with Camp Lejeune or ACA. I go myself and I make like, okay, what are the like 5 best creatives, or I ask our content writer to make 5 best creatives. Then I give the 5 best creatives to AI in our platform. I write like, hey, make improved versions from these 10, type 5 creatives. And then based on my example, it writes 100 or whatever I want. Then we start sending. I set up like, what is the test amount I want to do? And then I pick the best creatives from there based on like either calls, clicks, or conversions. We can basically track everything from there. And then what I do is I repeat the process and I go to the AI engine in our platform and, hey, write improved versions from these. And then it's like a constantly improving content machine. And same thing in the data. So you need to be able to, basically when you segment the data in our platform, you will always be able to see all the data files that you're sending, your campaign, if it's a voice broadcast or an SMS campaign, but you will be able to see the results per data. So before, how it used to be, you just chunked all the data into one, or had like a lot of different campaigns. Now that it's like you have 50 different creatives and 5 different data sets, and then you basically just stopping everything when you want, and you're matching the results and picking the best campaigns. And this can be like a huge, or it is a huge like difference between the worst one and a good one. So even if we have like 10 creatives that all look pretty similar, one can have like return of investment of like 300%, and the bad one can be like -50. And when the most important thing here is to have like the constant data available to make the right decisions. If it's the data, if it's the creative, if it's the content. And then secondly, the easiness of creating content. So I still remember the days when we had like 1 decade ago, like we're 3 partners in the company. So we had like creative days. So we had like, hey, this is your turn to do like 50 creatives, and then everybody was focusing and trying to do all those. But those days are gone, because now it's more like you just need to have an idea, and the AI will create everything else.
Crazy, man. So then basically as the data gets more segmented, because I'm sure it gets tagged in different ways based on the engagement with different campaigns, you really fine tune who you're sending to, and then you could find other relevant campaigns in the future. So you could take eventually like a segmented down set of records and 10x the value that you would get out of that, versus just trying to hammer that one diet offer, like the example you gave, right?
Exactly. And now when like that was only SMS, but when you combine voice, in voice you can see who's listening to your voice message, you can see who is calling back, and also as important that it is to see who is doing the action, is to see who is not doing the action, because this is not free. So we will always like, let's say that in our debt relief business, we have different type of data. We have the people who opt in Facebook, and we're getting a lot of subscribers from there. But still, if you have been in our Facebook list, and still I say that you are interested in debt relief, but you haven't listened a single voice call, or you haven't reacted to any SMS messages, it's just wasting money and like burning dollars to keep sending like messages. So to keep the list fresh, you will always remove the people as well who are not reacting to the marketing. But like now when we run our own products, it's amazing to see like how it depends on the use case and the value of the user. So the most valuable user in our case is somebody who already went to our debt closing, and we're just waiting for the documents. So the guy has maybe like 80K of debt, and we have like, or 100K of debt, and we have basically, our agent have been working like 30 minutes with the guy, and like it's just 1 or 2 documents away. And then we have this guy, and we need to get him to call back to us. In those cases, we use like, it's super important to do everything you can. So you combine like basically intelligent SMS and voice broadcasting. So you have like your branded caller ID that is showing like that is our brand that is calling. Then you have SMS reminders. And anyway, like the US government is like, if you have like something like urgent and you need to get hold of people, they are actually sending a voice broadcast. So that is something I've seen in the industry, that like the robocalls and all this like just mass marketing that has happened has given a little bit bad reputation. But in the end, like if you work with any of the like publicly listed companies that are operating in the call center, yeah, they're doing the exact same. Yeah. Even the government. The whole thing is that you just cannot go picking up random data and just sending like random calls. That will get you into problems. But
now is that gonna, but people do it, right? Because it does make sense to do often if you have a good offer, and it's like a broad offer that has a big reach, and the list kind of makes sense based, like if it's like age data that you bought from a list broker. So let's go to that extreme and bring that up, because I think it's important too, because people listening are probably thinking, can I do that? There's there's just more so of a risk associated with it, right? Financially with litigators, but also is it carrier blocks is a huge risk too, right? Or
Yeah,
not
well,
so
the
much the way
carrier,
you build
well,
yours.
in the carrier blocks are not the biggest issue, but they will come behind your advertiser. So it's like if you're doing like super non-compliant things, and that is like you can with if you have opt-in from the data and you use like services like we have like a big litigation list, and we're working with Blacklist Alliance, so all the national and like DMC scrubbed, like it's really rare that you get any TCPA complaints. So I think like we have around like 20 million messages going currently out daily, and I think from our customers they spend less than 10,000 this year in TCPA cases, and this is
That's
so
crazy, man.
it's crazy, and like no problems with any like three-letter like nothing like that, and still like people are super scared. So especially if I talk to network owners or offer owners, they're
Brokers
really
even. Yeah.
yeah, they're really hesitant to even start. But I think that is because like if you read from a news somebody who's been sending like 1 billion auto warranty messages from like India, and then they go to news on something. So but really like it's if you have the permission to the data and you play by like sensible rules, you use blacklists and DNCs and all this, like there's no real risk to get in like the serious troubles. And actually like the cases that we had the TCPI complaints, that is actually not even come from the actual sendouts. It's a TCPA litigator trick that they do. So what they do is they do a callback trick. So what they do is that they actually take the phone where they have opted in, like to a product, and they're going to receive the message that they had permission to receive. So they're giving the consent. Then they're picking up the second phone and calling that number and hanging up, so that the marketer will follow up like automatically, and then they try to catch them. So that is the two cases that we had actually a customer pay, like I think it was like other one was like 2K and the other one was like 4K something.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it's mostly like then these guys who are like playing it as a game and trying to like it's not
money,
like you're
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they're kind of different kind of marketers. They just try to make money that way, but they're not living the affiliate lifestyle, or
No,
I don't
no,
think so,
man.
at least.
They're squeezing a couple bucks. Yeah, at best. So what obviously there's challenges with the compliance, even if you use Blacklist Alliance, DNC. So like specifically as an affiliate, for if you're just like an affiliate in its pure sense, where you just run traffic to offer on pages, maybe to your own landers, you capture the data, you post the data, or even like survey and then form fill, click to call, all these traditional ways as an affiliate. I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing the biggest challenge as an affiliate you'll run into is finding buyers that like, because typically you're going to work with networks, maybe brokers, and a few direct buyers. The biggest challenge you're probably going to run into is everyone's going to say no to this kind of traffic. But it sounds like the solution is you either need to become the offer owner or have a call center that can filter. Is that true? Or how would an affiliate?
That is exactly true. So there's like to make the most benefit from this, you need to either have your own call center, because to be quite frank, if you're sending like this type, like when you're sending high volumes of this type of traffic, it is not the same quality as Google Ads. So if like the worst thing that can happen is that you go to a call center that is used to traffic for Google Ads or Facebook, like super high intent traffic, and then you blast them with SMS or voicemail, like voice broadcast traffic, then that is a problem. But how people typically do it is that they set up their own call center, or then they have in the past or still currently they have like a long IVR, or something like that. But that is all going to be changing like basically during the following months, and it's already changed with us. So what do you think? Is AI gonna be able to qualify a few people? Like, are they qualified for the offer? So that's not like the AI is passing the bar now. So they can qualify if somebody has been in Camp Lejeune or if they owe over 10K money. So it's
how does this change with the compliance? If we're talking about basically replacing call center agents with AI that's intelligent enough, that sounds like a real person, how does this change compliance? Like, I'll give you a scenario. Let's say everything stays within your software. There's no call center, and you like through whatever method, the text, the ringless voicemail, maybe even the outbound, you generate that conversation for Camp Lejeune, and your AI qualifies them on that call. Will it be a transfer to the end buyer at that point, to the law firm? And if it, or what, maybe even the network, and if it is, are they going to accept that type of traffic if it was technically qualified by an AI?
Yeah, well, it's going to be at that point that nobody will anymore understand if it's an AI or a human. So we are currently like with the tests that we are running, and we're going to implement it also like to our customers soon. It's like I've been tricked already that I cannot like see if it's like I'm trying to test the AI like hey, what the fuck, why did you call me, and like, please can I talk to your boss, and then they answer to me better than a human could. So it's getting there, and we're not talking about years, we're talking about months. And also the steps that AI is going to take here is, first of all, there's not going to be any telemarketers that are doing outbound in I would say in like 2 years. It is just how the fast the industry is going to adapt. It simply doesn't make any sense to have a human do outbound dialing when AI can be better than human in qualifying. But the first step is and cheaper. And the first step is that it's going to be qualifying, and the second, and also more scalable. And AI doesn't need holidays or take coffee breaks during the lunchtime. So, but the first step is that AI will do the qualification, which I would say it will be industry standard within like the next year. And then what's going to happen is soon, basically, then at the qualifications phase, it's not going to be any more like pre-recorded voice message that people will get. It will actually be an AI that will say, hey, John, are you there? And then you say, yeah. And then it will start a flawless conversation with you. So that is also coming during the next few months. And the end, what will happen in the end is that they will actually start closing deals. And when you can actually generate them like with like a full CPA or a retainer or the whole flow, the AI will send you the documents to sign. Like, I think we will be in the phase where it doesn't really like the hurdle, like it's now what you need to, if you want to become an advertiser, you want to sign your own retainers, you want to sell your own solar panels, you need to do a lot of HR, you need to have a lot of processes in place, you need to train a lot of people. The people are the biggest problem, and training and having them up to speed. But when you can only show the AI like once and give it instructions like, hey, this is how you close a debt deal, this is how you sign it, this is what you send, the AI will be able to do everything. So I think what will happen here is that yes, you will still need like there's no way to go around it. You will need to have permission to data. That is something that you cannot and you should not fake, because that is spamming if you just take random data. But when you have permission for the data, it will become so much easier to become the advertiser yourself.
You're basically saying if you do it right, you could become the advertiser more or less, as long as you're getting compliant data. That's the most important thing. That'll never change.
Yeah, that will become basically a game changer. So like let's take an example, the ERC program, which of course went down in flames a little bit now, but in that, like, there was a lot of people having like, they hired like hundreds of agents, they had the whole sales process, a lot of sales training to the people. Here's you need to sign this document, you need to get these documents from the people. But in any sales process, like you will be able to basically have one platform where you send the first marketing, if it's outbound calling, text messaging, whatever. And then when you get the customer interaction, especially via voice, then you will be able to basically do the whole sales with AI. That is where the end goal is going to be. And like I think like when we look at the industries that will go out of like job with the AI, like yeah, there's a lot of people driving cars and that will be automated, but there's regulation. But there's no regulation preventing for all the call center agents to be out of work soon. And
Crazy,
that is
man.
going to be like, yeah, it's going to be like, I think as fast as like when we're saying change from like to like CD players, or like just like a revolution that happens during like 1 year. Because imagine like we're selling our own product with like voice broadcast to other like companies. So it's pretty good like sales point. Like, hey, you have currently 50 people doing outbound dialing. Why don't you just replace them with AI calls? So that is already like a good, like they will save money and get like more money from the data that they're already dialing. But when things go forward, it will go way past that. Because imagine having the best call center agent that they ever lived and duplicating that, and him not needing to have any sleep. And at the same time, this guy is sending emails like immediately and never do any mistakes. This is going to be a reality in like 1 year or 2 years.
Crazy, man.
Like, yeah, and it's like if you think about it, like what do you need to close any deal? If it's solar, if it's like debt relief, legal, it is just documents. You need to do the sales. You need to get the customer to be interested, and then you need to sign some documents or maybe receive some documents. But it's all really easy interactions that are being done online or via phone that can be automated via AI, and they will be.
So before we jump to the craziness of where AI is going, which we're talking about obviously right now in 12 months, maybe, how can someone as an let me ask this. If you have an advertiser today and then you have an affiliate today, how would each one of those be able to start with your software right now and fully utilize it and be compliant?
Yeah. So the first step, if you're an affiliate or an advertiser, we start with that you have the right to market to the data. So basically, let's take an example. You are a debt relief advertiser. And you want to you have your marketing in Facebook or Google or TikTok, and you're receiving the leads. So what do you want to do? You want to get the maximum amount of money from your contacts. So what we are doing, we're sending all the fresh data that we get from the socials. We're sending them first a welcome email and asking them to call us. Then if they don't react to that, they will start getting phone calls like, hey, welcome to the debt relief program, and asking the qualifications. So basically pretty much you call and text immediately to fresh data. And then when the fresh data, when you have done that, then you keep hitting on the people who came from the funnel, and then you segment the data so that you remove all the people who you already hit a few times, they didn't interact, you throw them off, and then you keep doing the same process. It is as simple as that. Hitting fresh data immediately with your best offer with calls and SMS as an affiliate, that is what you do as well. So anytime you acquire data, basically as an affiliate, like this is how we do with the data feeds. Like if we have a data feed that comes from like a benefit survey, and we have data points, we know that he's a homeowner, they jump into the Textback platform, we push immediately offers that are based on their like data. If it's a male, they can get like offers like let's say like gambling offers that are sports betting offers. If it's like a young female, you will get like offers for like skincare. It is basically targeting the data like based on who they are, where they come from, and acting immediately. because fresh data is fresh data. So you need to hit immediately with all the different angles. And especially if you're the advertiser yourself and you pay like a lot of money to getting a lead, and you have also your competitors like trying to close this deal. So what you want to do is you want to attack them from all fronts: call, SMS, voicemail, then you repeat. So in marketing, like repetition is the king. So if you go to any big sales company, like let's say you take Freedom Debt Relief, try to call to Freedom Debt Relief or go fill their online form. You will be bombarded with calls and voice messages around 1 week. Then it will go all silent. That is how it just simply goes. So there is the moment that you just need to have one intent from the customer that they're interested. If it's joining up to a survey, or if it's going to your solar like web form, whatever it is. But when they hit, you want to do whatever it takes to convert them. So let's do the math. When you have a customer that you paid in solar or any other vertical, the higher the ticket, the more you should invest to that lead to make them convert. So you already paid like $20 from the lead. So why wouldn't you not spend like $1 to $2 to convert them? So that is plain stupidity in my idea, that people are not willing to do that. And sometimes they think that this is like, it's abusing marketing to call somebody like 5 times when they entered your funnel. But come on, if you try any good sales company, they will hunt you until you either buy or die, like they say in The Wolf of Wall Street. So that is the thing. Like you need that is how you can do it. And it's crazy easy in our platform. Let's say you own the data, you just connect with API, or if you have legacy data, you upload the file, then you go to AI panel, write what industry you're marketing and what are your goals. AI generates the creatives and you press send. So I'm sending like millions of messages a day, and the technical implementation of that takes me like 15 minutes. It's
Compared to 7
simple.
years ago. 7 years ago, when
Yeah,
you had your creative days.
yeah, in the creative days, and it used to be that everybody was like, somebody was in the hangover, and it was always the thing that the people wanted to do the least, like write a lot of creatives because you need to focus, do the grammar right. You had like software that we're not native English speakers, so we needed to be like always check that it's written the right way, and it's just pain in the ass. But AI has made everything so much easier, and it's crazy how lazy people are. So this is one of the biggest hurdles before, was that people are so lazy that they simply did not test creatives. They just made one creative and then they said this doesn't work, which is like the plain stupidity. If you're testing, like you should test like tens or even hundreds of different creatives, like you do in Facebook.
So as an affiliate, like I get the process as a whole, but having that call center is key regardless, more or less, unless you have a unique buyer arrangement where the buyer will take RVM, ringless voicemail, text message, and then outbound dialing to create a connection, correct?
Exactly.
Or become the offer owner, right? And so that's, unless you're like a licensed attorney or I don't know what else, like a insurance agent, and you have an insurance agency. That's why I like debt relief as a great vertical. Not suggesting everyone listens to this and goes and competes with you, but just like as an example, debt relief, there's no certifications more or less around. There's compliance factors, but I don't need to go to school for 2 years to start basically servicing debt, right?
Exactly. But that is what you need to do. Or then what you can do is you can become like a broker and do like a deal with the company that you signed the deals for them. But also it's like it's not only consumer products, B2B loans, ERC, like there's so many things. Like we have, like people are doing like homes for cash deals. Like the vertical range is just huge. now we have people giving like actually e-com BISOP offers, and like the range of the offers is like only the imagination. Anything you can sell with phone, or which is almost anything, can be sold with like AI calls and SMS as well.
So if you don't have the insurance license, or if you're not a state bar attorney, the next best thing is basically to find an offer or vertical where people will pay on a CPA for the signed retainer or for the full doc collection and submission. More or less, you do all the dirty work. You generate everything with your own traffic, and you're just more invested in the monetization of the data, more or less. Right? You're giving them a package, and that's gonna that as long as you're compliant within yourself and your follow-up process, the buyer's not going to care, more or less, as long as it's a real deal you're giving them. Correct?
Exactly. Well, why wouldn't I care? It's like you're not selling them clicks or cost. You're selling them like complete outcomes. Sales. Yeah, outcomes. Yep. That is what affiliate marketing is all about.
More or less, yeah. So it's super interesting, man. Like, so how could someone get started? Let's say someone's just running traffic through like maybe inbound phone calls, or like a click to call survey, or they're selling posted leads, or they run all their traffic to off-road pages where they don't own anything. What would be the next step for them to start using your software and having success with it?
Well, they need to sign up, and then they just need to load the data and like see what is the best place to push the traffic. But if any call center, like anybody who's doing anything related calls or links, like you will anyway have, like, in the most easy case to understand, like you will have abandoned cars, you will have people who submitted your form but didn't complete. Why would you just let them be? You need to hammer them with SMS. Or if you're in the call industry, you have people who call you but they hanged up. Maybe they got busy. Like if you look at the normal sales call, you need to be like 1 hour almost in the sales call. You need to go to the bathroom, your wife cries, you need to go do something, you have an appointment, you're going to hang up the call. So just like the lowest hanging fruit is to remarket to the people who you almost converted but did not. And any marketer should have those. So that is like something that I really don't understand why people are not taking that seriously, because if you are a call center, you're already paying for inbounds. You have people who almost complete the process, you lose them, and you don't do any marketing to gain them back. That is like 1000% plus ROI stuff every time.
So as a easy example, like right now I'm doing ACA and some Medicare. I'm generating thousands of calls, inbound calls per day. A percentage of those are going to qualify. A percentage of them are not going to convert, and then also another percentage are not going to connect, or they're going to be user hang up or system hang up. I could in theory take those, even the user hang ups and the system hang ups. Obviously, there's some TCPA risk there, but in theory I could take that data, export it out of Ringba, plug it into your software, and then have your software try to squeeze out some kind of inbound, right?
Exactly. So the easiest flow ever is to take the people who hanged up, and then you say like, hey, the call got, like, you send a message, the call got interrupted. Please call us back when you have better time. So then that is also, some lawyers say that it's like basically if you are in a phone conversation and the line breaks up or something comes, for you to request them to call back is a different game than you trying to sell them something new. So would it be a TCP? Like let's say that you're working in an AT&T store, and I call the customer service, and then my phone, like something happens. I'm driving in the car and I need to stop the call because the police comes. Then you call me back like, hey, Valtteri, am I gonna say like, fuck, hey, this is TCP violation? No, you're calling me back because the phone hang up and you're trying to reach me.
More or less,
you're trying to help. Yeah.
Cool. Super interesting. So everyone listening, if you're doing strictly inbound pay per call, no form fill, this could be an easy way for you to take basically wasted data, more or less, because you at least have the phone numbers, and monetize that, right? Maybe even cover your ad spend. You're saying it could be 1000% return, which is nuts for a non-connected call.
Yeah, well, actually, that was what I was like when I was we like, now most of our clients are in pay-per-call space, and the whole like game how we lured people in was that exactly that pitch, like, hey, what happens to the people who hang up the call for some reason, or they don't get connected, or they call you during the off hours. So then we just say like, hey, import that list, and then they send it, then they see the huge results and they hooked. In
So you
any
would take,
marketing, I think people.
so just as an ACA example, I'm selfishly curious, right? So let's say that same thing happens. You have system hang up, user hangups, or unconverted. I give that to a call center. I think the biggest, I give that to your software. Your software maybe drives it to my call center. I'm finding the biggest challenge with like a vertical like ACA. There's not a lot of buyers that'll take warm transfers, let alone inbounds off it. So I could either go push it to a call center, they transfer to the buyer. Not a lot of those buyers. And then also, I don't find any buyers that'll take calls technically coming off of SMS or ringless voicemail, for example. So do you, in that case, do you have to find an insurance agency that'll partner with you more or less and work on a CPA basis?
Well, that's also like a lot of like we have like a lot of different advertisers that are taking these calls, and they all get it that it comes from SMS. And it's, yes, it's more difficult to get those. But if you just explain to your current advertiser, like, hey, these are the people who already called, and we're just sending this marketing back to them, then things usually work.
Because there's intent.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we generated like way past like $50 million in like pay-per-call revenue, and that is 95% the advertisers knew that it was SMS or voicemail. So the advertisers are there, but you need to look from their perspective. Yeah, and you need to look from their perspective. They want the traffic, but they don't want the problems. So if you're able to ensure that you're doing it the compliant way, and you get them to try it, they usually like it. Or then you need to become the advertiser yourself.
And then you just go get your insurance license the next day, right?
Yes.
Cool, man. Well, this has been awesome. I've learned a lot. I'm sure everyone listening has learned a lot. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested in this. So we'll definitely link back to your software underneath this video. We'll link back. I don't know if you want to put your Instagram there or whatever, if you want people to contact you as well. And then we got to get you out at some conferences, man. I know I run into you at Affiliate World, the affiliate summits, but I know there's mastermind events where you could provide a lot of value, just sharing what's worked in this side.
Yeah, we've been going to a lot of mastermind events, and I've also like, we're going to be in Dubai, and we also have like our own small group of like super affiliates that we meet from the same industry and share information like constantly. And also, like, last but not least, like, we're growing constantly. So we're hiring constantly for new talent. We're hiring like salespeople, developers. Like, our team is like expanding like every month. And then if you're an advertiser that wants this type of traffic, or if you're an affiliate or a customer that wants to make more money with your data, like, we're the go-to company to do that.
Absolutely, man. Cool. Oh, by the way, he's a ninja jiu-jitsu player as well. So if anyone trains jiu-jitsu and you're at a conference with Valtteri, ask him to get some mat time in if you want to get some rolling in.
Yeah, I will choke the PCPA complaints.
Cool, brother. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing, for coming on, sharing your story about your software, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time.